Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Jupiter's CROCK here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel, where we are working our way through Season 2 of HBO's Rome. We're going to talk Episode 2, Son of Hades, today, where the great Cleopatra makes her reappearance in the show. But first, I will introduce the rest of the Legion here as we go through this. We have Plodicus himself, Steve.
13! I'm here again.
And someone who's always incredibly happy to be here and be forced to watch this show along with us is Ronan.
I'm having gummy clusters right now. I just opened up the bag. Grape strawberry bliss. Yum.
Now, I do like grape. I'm a big fan of grape, so I'll have to find those. I've got to get those on my list of things to try.
Yeah. So that way you can put them in your delicate little baby bird mouth. And
Yes.
be like, oh god, there's so much flavor. Oh
Too
god.
much. I just die. I just put one in my mouth. I just drop dead from the power of the flavor.
I mean, in the sense, really, you're just kind of doing yourself a favor in the long run. Things are just going to get worse. It's not the worst. It's not the worst way you can go out from delicious candy.
It was something I saw online. I can never remember what it was, but it was like, just think, things are bad, folks. Things are bad today, but just remember, they're not as bad as they're going to be tomorrow. So enjoy what you can today. Now, hopefully, what is not as bad as what we watched last week in the sense of just completely cutting out incredibly epic opportunities for speeches and acting opportunities. We are following up on what happened to our dear characters at the end of Episode 1, Passover, with Son of Hades. Steve, take it away. Walk us through it.
All right, so once again, I'm gonna talk about two plot lines separately, because it seems like so far, Vorenus and Pullo are like mostly divorced from what's happening with Mark Antony and Brutus. Like there's a little bit of intersection here, but it's mostly separate plot lines. So let's talk about what happened with Vorenus. I don't even know what to call this area. The Aventine, is that the official name of this place?
Yeah, that's the hill that they are living on, the Aventine.
All right, well, on Aventine Hill, basically there's like a power struggle. There's a power vacuum left behind by the death of Rastus Fullman, and so there's just nonstop violence on the street with all of these other gangs like trying to take control. Shit's getting bad. Meanwhile, Vorenus has been like laying in bed doing nothing for a month.
Good life.
Erastus Fullman's like severed head has just been like sitting in the floor and rotting, and
it gives him comfort. It calms him down when he looks at it.
Yes, Titus Pullo and Arini have been like living with Vorenus and taking care of him, trying to get him to come out of his shell, and it's just not happening. So at one point, over in the Mark Antony storyline, people are telling him nonstop, like, you got to do something about the Aventine. You got to do something about the Aventine. There's just like gangs and violence over there. So Titus Pullo at one point realizes, I can't help Vorenus. He's not listening to me. So he goes over and says, hey, Mark Antony, remember me? I'm Titus Pullo, star of the hit show HBO's Rome. And Mark Antony's like, oh yeah, I've seen you before. And so Mark Antony is like been doing political shit and he hates it. So as soon as he gets the opportunity to like engage with Titus Pullo, like a former soldier, he's like, shit, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. And so Pullo tells Mark Antony like, hey, Vorenus isn't doing well. Like, will you come talk some sense into him? And Mark Antony goes to Vorenus' house and forces him back into like a soldier role. He tells him, stand at attention. Basically just starts dressing him down like a drill sergeant. And Vorenus responds to this. And Mark Antony still blames Vorenus in part for Caesar's death. And he's like, why haven't you killed yourself yet, you useless piece of dog shit? And Vorenus is like, well, I would. Vorenus is like, yeah, like I wish I could kill myself, but I answer to the god Dis. Like, Matt, what is Dis the god of?
Discord? I guess. I don't know. I honestly don't know who the god of Dis is. Let me look it up.
Look that up, because Vorenus answers to Dis. And he's like, Dis controls like how long I live and when I die. And so if Dis hasn't directed me to kill myself, then I am meant to live and just waste away as punishment. And Mark Antony's like, fuck Dis. And so it's like, I am your god. You answer to me. And Vorenus accepts. And so what you find out what happens is Mark Antony has instructed Vorenus to take control of the Aventine. So we see scenes of like guys being like drowned in a fountain, and these like holy men come by, and they're clanging their little bells. They have some sort of like wooden icon of whatever god they represent, and they're like, we declare that until 6 p.m. tonight, there is to be no more violence, and all of the captains of these gangs are to meet at the Aventine Collegium or whatever this place is called, and more instructions will be given. And like the gang leaders respond to this, like, okay, like a pause has been declared, and so they all go to this. I think they call it the college, but I don't know. I think I'm losing something in translation there. I'm just going to call it the college, and you guys can correct me if it's something else. So they go to the college, the Collegium. They go there, and who is in charge of the Collegium now? Well, it's Vorenus. Mark Antony and Titus Pullo successfully kind of brought him back to life. Pullo shaves him, and Vorenus goes to this place, and he tells all of the gang leaders, like, look, the violence is done. The shit that you've been doing is over with. We are going to have peaceful, controlled streets. You will not let shit get out of hand. If violence happens, I expect you all to take care of that yourselves and, nip it in the bud. Just fucking stop it. And in return, you're all going to get 5,000 space bucks a month. And so we're gonna, it's gonna be almost like a police state, or I don't know, basically. But he's paying the gang leaders for peace, and they're gonna get to keep doing their gang shit. They just can't have violence out on the streets. And one of the gang leaders is like, absolutely fucking not. I'm not doing anything with that. Oh, I get kicked out of the game. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
It's
By the way,
out.
While you got kicked out of the game, I did look up Dis.
Okay.
So Dis is just another name for essentially Hades. So according to Wikipedia here, Dis Pater, otherwise known as Rex Infernus or Pluto, which is also known as Hades, is a Roman god of the underworld. Dis was originally associated with fertile agricultural land and mineral wealth, and since those minerals come from underground, he was later equated with the deities Pluto / Hades and Orcus. So yeah, Dis is just Hades.
All right, good to know. Well, anyways, I'm back in the game. One of the gang leaders is like, fuck you, Vorenus. I'm not doing this. And they're all supposed to still be like under this peace treaty. And so like anytime someone goes to grab a sword, someone else in the room's like, stop. The priest said we can't do it. You're going to anger the gods. Well, Vorenus is like, oh, like you want to come at me, bro? So Vorenus grabs like the icon of this god that is imposing this peace treaty, and he just smashes it into the fucking ground, which apparently like terrifies all of the gang lords because they all fall in line. They are all like, "Yep, okay, we accept your terms. We will take."
What was the goddess? I can't remember the name of the goddess, but he's like, "I fuck her in her ass," and he smashes that statue.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the god, but yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I feel like Steve and I could be transported back in time, like into this age, and just like use our rampant disregard for gods, and just like
Concord. That's it.
Concord
was I fuck Concord in her ass. Just smashes that idol.
Yep,
Jeez.
and that terrifies the gang leaders, so they're all on board. They accept.
Terrifies Polo too. You see his face.
Polo like very seriously believes in the gods, and apparently Vorenus does too, because he wouldn't kill himself because it was aimed at the gods. But Polo is like, oh man, I don't know about this one. Like we shouldn't be doing this. But the gang leaders fall in line,
bro. Too far.
They accept their 5,000 space bucks per month, and now Vorenus has essentially become a crime lord. I don't know what else to call it.
That was a hard turn out of nowhere. Just a hard
what
fucking
Boba
left
Fett
turn.
wanted to be, Vorenus actually accomplished.
Yes, I
No,
assume
there's a
Vorenus
difference.
was also
Boba Fett
used
didn't
to-
want it. Boba Fett didn't want it. The last episode, he was like, I don't even think I want to do this anymore. Vorenus just kind of stumbles his way into it because Mark Anthony tells him to.
Yeah, well, we get further scenes where Vorenus is now this crime lord, and Titus Pullo is like interviewing people to be like hired. There's a woman who is going to come in, and the scene like focuses on this woman for a while. So I'm assuming she's going to become important in later episodes, but I don't know. But she says like I am not a sex worker. I am like the sex worker boss. Like she's going to be like the pimp. Or like the brothel mistress, essentially.
The madam.
The madam, yeah. She says, like, for every 500 coins that come into this establishment, I get one of them. And Titus is like, all right, cool, sign her up. So,
you can tell that Pullo's already smitten with her. He's like eyeing her.
Yeah, well, she gets up to walk away, and the camera like follows her as she's leaving
Up the stairs,
and she passes Macius. I don't know. It's the guy who in season 1 was like, "Hey, look, Vorenus, give the soldiers land, or they're all going to riot." And then Vorenus bribes him to get the soldiers to fall in line. Well, apparently he gambled away all of his money and land because he comes back into the establishment wanting a job, and gets a job, and What does Vorenus say? He yells at people like, "I am a son of Hades" or something, and that's another thing that scares Titus Pullo. But that's where we leave the story. Vorenus is going hardcore into being the son of Hades and the leader now of this criminal underworld. Pullo is supporting him, but definitely does not like the blasphemy that he believes is being committed. And now Macius is back to do future things. Anything that I missed in the Vorenus storyline in this episode?
No, I think you got it.
I don't think so. I think that was basically it. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Leave a comment down below, folks, if Steve missed
let me know what I missed.
Chastise him sharply.
That's fine. Even when I do a shitty job describing things, it's still better than either of you could do. So let's talk about the Mark Antony storyline. Mark Antony is successfully kicked, Brutus's people, aside from Brutus's mom, out of Rome. So for all intents and purposes, Mark Antony is now in charge, and we see several scenes of him doing political shit, and he fucking hates it. There's just a line of people outside his door wanting his help with something. And at one point he says, "Fuck it," and he just closes the door and he leaves, and that's where he runs into Titus Pullo. But Cleopatra is like the main new presence in this episode. You find out that Cleopatra is coming to Rome. It's been 4 years since, or I guess it would be 5 years now, with the 9-month gestation time. It's basically been Caesar's kid is 4 years old, and so Cleopatra is coming to Rome.
Time jump.
Yep. Cleopatra is coming to Rome and wants Caesarion to be legitimized. She wants she wants her kid to be legally recognized as Caesar's son. And of course, Addie is like, the fuck what? She is like, no, Octavian is Caesar's only son, his only true heir, and we're going to leave it that way. So Cleopatra comes in. Oh, well, first of all, we also get the scene that Matt was talking about in the last episode, where Cicero is with Mark Antony, and Mark Antony's like, basically, I could kill you, right? I could just fucking do that. And Cicero's like, I'll be afraid of that tomorrow, but today you need me. And so Cicero was summoned by Mark Antony, and Mark Antony hands Cicero a list. I guess these are all people they're going to have votes to, they're going to join the Senate. And Cicero's like, this totally isn't a list of people that bribed you to become senators, right? And Mark Antony's like, oh no, wink. And so Cicero says, "Yo, look, all right, right now you need me. Let me at least go through this list and like get rid of like the most corrupt people, because then it'll be less obvious as to what's happening here." And Mark Antony accepts that. But Cleopatra's coming to town, and I don't remember Cleopatra and Mark Antony ever being in the same scene, but Mark Antony apparently remembers Cleopatra, and Adia is very worried that Mark Antony is gonna go try to bang Cleopatra. Like Adia says, like, I don't care if you cheat on me with like slaves and the lesser women, but you are not allowed to cheat on me with a woman who is above me. And Cleopatra is, a fucking queen. So Adia,
which episode was it where Mark Antony's laying in bed? He's like, I'm not getting out of this bed until I fuck someone.
It was the last one because it was right before Caesar's funeral.
It was so funny, and she's like, "Get out of bed." And he's like, "I'm not getting out of this bed until I fuck someone." And she's like, "Okay, just
go get that German. Go get that German whore from the kitchen."
Yeah,
it's just like,
God, Mark Antony is such a scumbag. I don't remember. Like, he was like sleazy in season 1. In these first 2 episodes of season 2, he's like on another level, or at least another level from what I remember. He's gotten significantly worse.
Nerd theory craft for a second here. Nerd theory crafting. Do you think Mark Antony and Asher could have taken over all of Rome with just underhanded scheming?
Well, maybe we'll find out in House of Asher coming in a couple months.
I'm going to look up, has there been any news on House of Asher? I'm going to look that up real quick.
All right, continue.
Anyways, so Adia is very upset by Cleopatra showing up. Cleopatra and Mark Antony have a meeting, and they basically like come to a deal where Egypt will continue to supply. They come to a grain deal. Cleopatra and Mark Antony have a trade deal worked out, and then Cleopatra's like, "Oh, by the way, I want you to legitimize my son." And Mark Antony, like, he doesn't really say it, but it's kind of, or he says it, but it's whispered into her ear, so we don't really hear it. But basically, Mark Antony's like, "Yeah, if you fuck me, I'll do whatever you want." And Cleopatra like turns him down, and so Mark Antony says, "Your son will eat shit and die before I legalize him."
We should point out that the reason why Egypt is so important is because Egypt provided all of the grain to Rome, and so if the grain supply is cut off from Egypt, the people in Rome riot because they have nothing to eat. And so that's why the relationship between Rome and Egypt was so important.
Yes. And so they work out the grain deal. Cleopatra turns down Mark Antony. Adia doesn't believe this. Adia fully believes that Mark Antony fucked Cleopatra. And she's half right. Mark Antony tried to fuck Cleopatra, but Cleopatra turned him down.
He will later, too.
Yes.
So I mean, she kind of future theory crafting here. It does happen, but
yes. So all throughout this episode, I'll mention it here, but it's going to come to a head later on. Octavian's like, "Hey, Mark Antony, where my money? Where my money? Give me my money." And Mark Antony blows him off. "Oh, you're a young man. You don't even need the money. What would you even do with the money? Don't worry about it. Papa Mark Antony's got it." And Octavian not pleased by this, but he doesn't escalate until later in the episode. But just keep that in the back of your head. That's what's happening.
Why does Octavian want his money?
Well, that's why I said it's going to escalate, and we're going to come back to it later in the episode.
It's a tease. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry, I'm just jumping in. I'm so excited.
Well, now there's going to be a party, and Cleopatra is going to be at... Did I win that? Sweet. Cleopatra, there's going to be a big party, and Cleopatra's going to be there, and Cleopatra shows up, and she's got her little boy with them, and there's a lot of cattiness between Adia and Cleopatra that I really enjoyed this episode. And Cleopatra's like, "Oh, look at my son. This is Caesarion. Looks just like his father, right?" And Adia's like, "No, he doesn't look anything like him." Grumbles, runs away. Cleopatra at this point looks like she's maybe trying to like play herself up so she can better manipulate Mark Antony, but ultimately, like, they do not fuck in this episode. So the party wraps up. Cleopatra leaves, and Cleopatra goes to Adia and is like, "Oh, I feel like I have made a friend for life. kiss me. And so Adia and Cleopatra embrace, and they kiss each other on the cheek. And then Adia leans in close and whispers in Cleopatra's ear and says, "Die screaming, you pig spawn trollop." I laughed out loud
awesome.
when that happened.
Yeah.
That is great.
So Cleopatra leaves, and so I think that's the end of Cleopatra in this episode. I'm assuming more to come on Cleopatra in later seasons. So all that's left now is to resolve the Octavian and Mark Antony dilemma. And so Octavian has gone to Mark Antony multiple times. It's like, look, give me my money. I need my money. And Octavian does not believe that Mark Antony knows how to run Rome. Octavian points out, look, the people are restless. Everyone's on edge. Caesar promised everyone 75 space bucks in his will. Like, we have to deliver. It's like, I am Caesar's like sole heir. It's my name on the line if Caesar's words aren't followed. And Mark Antony keeps trying to blow him off, and eventually it comes to a head. And Mark Antony says, "You will get your money never, or when I good and damn well please it." He's basically telling Octavian in front of Adia that I am not giving you shit. I don't care that you are Caesar's heir. I am in charge here. And so what does Octavian do? Octavian borrows a bunch of money. He borrows 300 million space bucks against all of Caesar's assets. He's like, look, the money's mine, so I just borrowed against it. Like, everyone knows that I'm Caesar's heir. Everyone knows I have access to all this, so I'm going to borrow a bunch of money. And Mark Antony and Adia lose their shit. Like, Mark Antony is like about to collapse, like he's fainting, like a spell has come over him and he's gonna fall on the ground. And I loved Octavian so much in this, because when Mark Antony and Octavia hear about this, they go to wake Octavian up. Octavian is still in bed. He's like, oh, it takes a long stretch. Oh, I must have overslept. Like, he has taken this all in stride, fucking with his mom and Mark Antony. And so they grill him on this, and he says, like, look, the money's mine. I borrowed against it. I'm going to fulfill Caesar's wishes. So you can fucking fall in line, or you cannot. And Mark Antony is like incensed. They end up fighting, and Mark Antony starts like strangling Octavian, and Adia finally gets him to stop. But Octavian uses this opportunity to like smack Mark Antony in the head with like some sort of statue, which causes Mark Antony to go off even more, and he's just punching Octavian in the face repeatedly. And they eventually
He tries to stop though at one point, like early on, because Octavian smacks Adia. And that causes Mark Antony to like go after him, and he goes to punch him on that bed, but he stops and he starts walking away, and Octavian keeps escalating it.
Yes, but eventually they break the fight up, and so now there's a giant rift between Mark Antony and Adia and Octavian, and Adia is basically telling Mark Antony, or Adia is telling Octavian, it's like, you are never going to get that money. You are never going to get that money. Mark Antony is in charge. We have to basically suck up to him and give him everything he wants, because our entire future now essentially rides on Mark Antony. And Octavian's like, absolutely fucking not. And so the end of the episode,
he tells her, he's like, I can do it. He's like, I can lead. And his mom just dismisses him. Like, he's silly.
He also has that conversation with his sister at one point. Octavian, or his sister, goes to Octavian and is like, "Look, why are you doing all this? Why do you need all this money?" And Octavian swears her to secrecy, which has worked out well for him in the past.
Oh yeah, that's great. She's a great secret keeper, the best ever.
And he tells him, and Octavian tells his sister, "Is like, look, Mark Antony doesn't know what he's fucking doing. Rome is going to fall apart unless new leadership happens. I can be that new leadership." And Octavia laughs in his face. So Octavian has no allies here. And so Octavian, the end of the episode is Octavian gathers, I guess, some Roman soldiers that are loyal to him, or at least loyal to Caesar, and they march away. And Octavian leaves a note behind for his mom saying, "I'm going to meet my friend Agrippa, and I'm going to get my ducks in a row, and I'm going to lead Rome. So you fucking deal with that." And I think that's the end of the episode. What did I miss?
There is a subplot with Timon. So at the initial party,
subplot.
Yeah, but it becomes a big plot down the line where I guess Adia had, unbeknownst to Mark Antony, had hired Timon to basically kill Servilia.
I was about to mention that. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So she was going to kill Servilia after she leaves this party or whatever. And when I was watching the episode, the little pop-up thing said that there was a moment where Adia and Servilia, Adia is being super nice to her in front of all these people, and that was like considered the biggest humiliation in Rome, is when your greatest enemy basically said, "Oh, you're fine. I have no problems with you anymore," because it essentially shows all of Rome that you lost and you're just being humiliated in front of everybody. But Timon, Adia eventually goes out and tells Timon, "I don't need you anymore," because Octavian tells Mark Antony, "Look, she's going to kill, and that's going to destroy the truce of all the stuff that's going on." And but Timon's brother comes in from Israel, and basically he's complaining about the Romans who are essentially in charge of Israel and doing all of that stuff over there, and that how he kind of wants to revolt. And Timon at this point is like, "Look, I got a wife and kid. Don't be bringing this rebellion shit to my door here in Rome." So that is a subplot that's going on, but that becomes something much, much bigger episodes down the line.
Okay, what do we think about this episode? Like, I was not super interested in the Vorenus stuff. I'm not on board with really Vorenus becoming this crime lord.
We did forget something. The last shot. Who's still alive?
I don't know who's still alive.
You didn't wait. Okay, so when Octavian is wandering away on this horse,
Vorenus's kids.
Yes.
Oh, that was him. Okay, I saw that kid and I was like, I just thought it was like a stray kid. I didn't realize it was supposed to be him.
It's his daughter. It's the
it's his sister-in-law,
right? And it's the kid.
Yep.
So that's
as Octavian is leading soldiers away, there's like a cart of slaves off to the side, and the camera goes into the cart, and it's the remains of Vorenus's family.
Oh yeah, okay. I was like, these have to be important, but who the fuck are these? Are these guys? I had no clue.
I recognized the sister-in-law. I cannot tell Vorenus's children apart, aside from one of them is the boy and not actually Vorenus's child.
Yeah, I like this episode. This had less problems. I had less problems with this episode than I did the previous one. I kind of like where we're setting up. It's almost like these first two episodes were like, we have to get this out of the way with the old cast. And now I suspect the next episode will be a significant time jump ahead. Because at a certain point in this season, the actor playing Octavian completely changes. And it's a different dude entirely.
They have to age him up like 5+ years or something like that.
Yeah, so I like this episode. I don't have a problem with Vorenus kind of becoming the crime lord. I kind of like the idea where he's like, "Look, my entire life is fucked." He wants to die, but he's just like, "I don't fucking care when I die, because that's up to Hades or whatever as to when I die, and I'm just going to do whatever. If I die tomorrow, fine. I want to die tomorrow." And I like the dynamic where Pullo is just kind of like, "Jesus, like what?
Come
I
on,
don't want to
bro.
die. Like, I got a wife, man. Like, don't be bringing this bad shit on me because I have a new wife here that I care about." I like all of that.
I do kind of like that they flipped the dynamic. Like in the first season, like the first half of the first season, it was always Pullo getting up to crazy shenanigans, and then Vorenus being the straight man that had to kind of like fix things. And now that has flipped to an extent where Vorenus is going to be incredibly reckless now, and Pullo is going to have to be there to keep him from getting himself killed.
Yeah,
Like,
Ronan, your thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, with the Vorenus and Polo stuff, I don't think any of this, what the Crime Lord stuff, I don't think any of this stuff sticks for very long. If only because, like, at some point, like once armies and stuff start getting raised again, like they're both trained soldiers, they get brought back into that. I'm not sure how, because like both of these two characters historically there was somebody named Pol, the names exist historically. They're in, like, I believe they're in Caesar's, like, a journal or diary where he casually mentions, like, a soldier's named after those two guys. It's like, but like they don't have any historical tying to anything else going on, but they've been put into it. So now the writers have to figure out, how do we keep these two characters tied along in all the wacky shenanigans. So that's going to be an interesting clusterfuck further down the line. As far as the rest of the episode goes, I thought this was it was more enjoyable than the last episode. The people you don't like, they're getting their up and comings, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, we know Octavian is eventually, spoilers, going to eventually he's going to have his day with all of these fuckers. So it's all right. It's all right.
I did like how they really ramped up in this episode how smart Octavian is, and I like the fact that that they are basically showing everybody's underestimating him. Like, his entire family underestimates him. Mark Antony underestimates him. I think one of the little pop-up factoids said even the Senate underestimated him. And I think Cicero at some point wrote some sort of treatise or something that was basically trying to tell people, like, everyone thought Caesar was the problem. Caesar was never actually an emperor of Rome. He never was. Octavian becomes the first emperor of Rome, and I think at a certain point, Cicero himself recognizes this was the real problem all along. Was sort of Octavian, and we'll see Cicero going forward, sort of what happens to him as this all plays out. But I don't know. I like this episode. What do you think of it, Steve?
I am 100% on board for the Mark Antony versus Octavian storyline. I still not a fan of Crime Lord Vorenus. Well, great. I'm 50-50 on it. The show is losing me.
Where do you want Vorenus to go? Like, what would you prefer Vorenus as these episodes go down? Like, I mean, you don't want Crime Lord Vorenus. What do you want him to be doing?
I mean, I assume since they've shown his family is alive, that eventually he's going to go on some, like, revenge murder spree to reclaim his kids. That's the only thing that makes sense to me at this point.
It could just be something where they're just telling the audience, look, his whole life is destroyed, but his kids actually didn't die.
Or he could go on a revenge murder spree.
Yes, I think we all want to see a revenge murder spree. We love that in our ancient Roman media. We like seeing these people get fucked over and then go on a bloody revenge tour all the way through the Roman countryside. Okay, well, do you guys have any other thoughts about this episode?
We have to kill time.
Yeah, because
I'm just asking.
The next hand, we're going to go all in blind.
That's why I said we have to kill time, because we'd already kind of checked out at this current hand.
Okay, our goal here, Steve, circling back around, I'll tell to the listener, leave a comment down below. What did you think about Son of Hades and where all these storylines are going? But before we go all in, remember our goal. Our goal is to completely bust Ronan out of all chips. So we got Ronan's got to lose. We got to hope for a Ronan loss here, and then we need to see, Ronan, how many chips you actually have left.
Do you want me to speed? I'll just speed this process up in every hand from now on.
No, that's not how we do this.
No, that's exactly how I'll do this starting the next episode. I'm going to speed this process along, every hand, all in.
No,
I am going to be that guy. I'm going to become that guy.
Why do you got to be that guy, Ronan?
That's the goal, isn't it?
The world is shitty enough already. Just play along.
The goal is for us to bust you out, not you to give up on yourself.
Well, but no. It's now that I know what your goal is, because you two haven't decided to secretly plot this against me. Now I can actively work against it.
I don't know how you deal with it, Steve.
It's hard. It's real hard.
All right, we're gonna go all in on this hand.
Yep.
Blind. I'm actually up 75,000 chips, I think. So I got a lot to lose here.
You mean 7.5? Because we're not at that kind of table today.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 0.75, 7,500 chips. Sorry, Steve.
I mean, look, get it right.
I mean, yeah.
All right, all in.
Come on, dude. You know you want to. Boo. Come on, dude. You know you want to. I think you're the chip leader. Oh, come on.
Bold.
All right, Ronan had 1.39. God, what are these?
Look at these cowards.
I know.
Look at these cowards.
No, okay.
Wow,
King
it's just
eyes.
us.
6-5, 5 queen. Oh, I need queens.
Okay.
Queens.
I need kings.
Fives will help me. Come on, queen. That's not helpful. That's not helpful.
This is not helping anybody.
Jesus.
Yes!
You won it with high card. Absolute stone cold fucking bullshit. We'll be back in another week with episode 3, whose name I definitely know.
These being the words of Marcus Tullius Cicero.
What Matt said. Good night, everyone.